Теперь все должно работать. Все работает? Скажи, пожалуйста, рулер. Роллер. Ладно, в общем, я надеюсь, все работает. Так что мы продолжаем наши приключения во Франции. Давай. Я уже напрочь забыла, если честно, что мы делаем. Давайте почитаем по дневнику. Может, вспомним. Испакрил кому-то пиджак. Есть номер портного. Надо, видимо, ему позвонить. Ладно, давайте
Remembering
еще.
the flower seller's advice.
Да.
Hi.
Bonjour. I'm glad you could make it, monsieur.
Please, call me George.
Fine. I'm Nicole. Take a seat, George.
Что-то мы уже, по-моему, говорили. Зачем она снова знакомится
Eh
с
bien?
ним?
And what have you been up to?
I've been exploring the sewers underneath
Ладно,
the
давайте
cafe.
прослушаем
I
еще.
thought I could smell something bad.
The clown used the sewer to escape and to change out of his costume. I guess he was in a hurry. He left his jacket behind.
And?
I got his tailor's phone number.
You had better luck than I did.
Luck, she said. Luck. Hard work, I'd call it. What happened?
My editor told me to drop the story. Can you believe it?
But you're not gonna do that.
Oh no. I'm going to find out what's behind these killings. It just doesn't add up. It almost feels like some sort of conspiracy. The police in 3 different countries have kept very quiet about the murders. The press don't connect them at all. They blame them on political, religious, or militant minority extremists.
Well, that covers just about everyone.
Так.
Tell me more about the clown's previous victims.
The first he made
Ладно, мы все это
emergency.
слушали.
What about the clown?
Yamada. He.
How did he die?
At the,
A snow...
I really.
You know, I
don't. But this.
or... I found a piece...
Давай покажем ей ткань.
When I showed it to the...
It's just here.
Угу, она дала нам
Look what that-
фотку.
Checker...
That's
Oh, no.
take it.
A s-
Or
I found this...
Давай покажем ей нос. Она нам скажет, в каком магазе
hey,
его
what's
купили.
this inside?
The con...
Don't be. It's a.
I'll check... How come you enlarged this photograph of...
Big.
I found this... No.
It's still this.
Ну, в смысле, дискастин.
Tell me more. Well,
I guess I owe that.
did you live...
Yes, 4 years.
Oh,
It's all. He was Papa.
did you...
We most. I used.
You make...
Oh no.
I have to go.
Okay.
О, да. И извините, пожалуйста, еще пару секунд. Вот. Так, возвращаемся к игре. Роллер, я тебя призываю. Ты тут? Призовись, пожалуйста. Ой, куда же нам? Угу. Нам, наверное, сюда. Поглубже? Нет, не было. Какая классная музыка. Классно. Спасибо за похоронный марш. О, вы на месте. Класс.
Excuse me.
Bonjour, monsieur. Please, come in. Welcome. Leave the mundane world behind, for in these four walls, fantasy is king.
I don't want a costume.
Didn't you ever dress up when you were a child?
Not that I remember.
Incredible! You'll be telling me next that you never shared your elder sister's lingerie.
I don't have a sister, and I think I'd look pretty silly in a brassiere. I just need some information.
Of course. How can I help you?
У тебя просто не было хорошего бюста. Ладно, давайте поговорим.
Have you heard of a man named
Пишешь
Planchal?
комменты,
I
засекаешь
do
время.
not
Я прочитала,
recall
он пришел.
anyone of that name.
I'm looking for a man who hired a clown costume from you.
Oui, monsieur. I do not see how I can help.
Don't you keep a record of costumes that you've rented out?
Видимо, у меня компу и УБС
Well,
и
then I'd
игре
like to
нужно
check your
просто
record.
разогнаться
Give me the names of
побыстрее,
everyone who's rented a
ну,
clown suit.
подольше,
Impossible.
чтобы
There are too
оно
many.
работало нормально.
Do you want this red nose back?
Not after it's been worn, thank you.
Так,
Do you recognize this man?
Oui, monsieur. I sold him some grease paint.
Does this dirty tissue mean anything to you?
Let me smell that.
понюхать хорошо, хоть не полезать.
Bestheimer's number 7 white pancake.
Theatrical grease paint, right?
Oui, monsieur. La crème de la crème of Thespian accoutrement.
Have you sold any of it recently?
Yes, 2 cans.
Do you recognize this man?
Ah oui, he was here this morning. That is the man to whom I sold the grease paint. I remember the scar on his face. He chose 2 costumes. Bozo the clown and Seamus the pixie.
A pixie?
Very smart. Green silk with a taffeta lining. He gave me his name as Monsieur Khan.
Кан, извините.
Thanks for your help, buddy.
Извините,
My
вырвалось
pleasure,
просто.
monsieur.
Star
Allow me
Trek
to
flashback.
shake you by the hand.
Huh? Well, okay.
Ой!
What are you
Ау!
trying to do, kill me?
You did not find it amusing?
I never saw the funny side of electroshock therapy.
Eh bien, it is yours to keep. A gift?
Do I need a license?
Спасибо!
No, but I give you a word of warning, monsieur.
What?
Remember to switch it off before you visit the toilet.
Классно. Шарахнул током, а потом такой, я тебе это дарю. А давайте позвоним портному, раз у нас его номер есть.
Hello? Who is this? Hi. My name's George Stobart. You don't know me.
Ты опять выходишь на связь, мудила.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm trying to trace one of your customers. Could I maybe come over and talk to you?
No,
That's not possible. Oh, okay. Forget it. Listen, all I want is a name. What are you talking about? Who are you working for? I guess you might say I'm acting in the interests of truth and justice.
Господи.
Thank God. I thought you were the police. There are innocent lives at stake, Mr. Todrick. Lives that you could save. You're collecting for charity, yes? No, I'm not. All I want from you is information. Go on. I'm listening. Do you know a guy called Plantar? No, I never heard of him. Shall I tell you what happened to Plantar? How he was killed in cold blood? I told you, I never heard of Plantar. I expect Plantar's a family man, don't you? In their little apartment, Madame Plantar is cooking the supper, listening for the familiar sound of her husband's key in the door. Junior is waiting for his daddy to come home from work. He can't wait to show him the merit marks he earned in school today. Only tonight, Monsieur Plantar won't be coming home. You forgot the puppy. Huh? The faithful puppy dog, waiting for the sound of his master's voice. Well, maybe they don't have a dog. What do you think? I don't know, Plantar. I never heard of Plantar. None of this has anything to do with me. The man I'm looking for is called Khan. He bought a suit from you, remember? Mr. Khan. Yes,
Khan.
I remember him. Yes, I delivered the suit to his hotel. The Hotel Ubu. I don't remember the room number. It was upstairs. The second room on the right-hand side of the corridor. Thanks, Todrick. That's all I wanted to know. Now I've got you, Mr. Clown.
В смысле? А мы по поводу клоуна не поговорили? Вернее. Нет, это не русский акцент. А чё, все? Нельзя больше позвонить? Ну ладно. Нет, это французский же акцент. Ладно, путь держим в отеле Убю. А это что за гапари?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
No, I ain't. Don't tell me I missed him. Oh, that's too bad. I love the clowns, don't you?
I've seen daytime television that was funnier.
I love it when the little guys get hurt.
That figures.
Custard pies, hose pipe down the pants, then smack! A plank in the kisser.
Сурово.
You ever meet a guy called Plantar?
No, I ain't.
You missed your chance. If you're quick, you'll catch him at the coroner's. Do you happen to know a guy named Khan?
That ain't nobody I know.
Do you recognize the guy in this photograph?
Is this a trick question?
No. I simply asked if you recognized him.
Okay then. No, I don't.
Какой-то мутный мужик.
See you later.
Not if you see me first.
А этот что нам скажет?
Excuse me.
Yes?
Этот еще и на крысу похож. Господи.
Do you know a man by the name of Khan?
No, I don't.
It's very important I get to see him, and
I told you, I don't know it.
have you heard of a guy called Plantar?
No, that name means nothing to me.
I'm looking for a clown.
Are you trying to be funny?
No, I really am looking for a clown.
There are no clowns here except you.
Do you recognize the guy in this
Может, он
photograph?
знает про него?
No, I never saw it.
Понятно. Ну ладно, идем в отель. О, это из статьи мужик, который про Нобелевскую премию.
Excuse me, didn't I see your picture in the news? You're that Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Yes, that is me, in person.
I don't want to worry you, but have you had any threats on your life? You know, mysterious phone calls, letters made up of headlines cut from the newspaper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know a guy called Plantar?
I don't
Давайте до
know
всех
anybody
доебываться
in
будем.
Paris.
Oh, well, this guy's dead anyhow.
Why do you ask me about dead men? I have seen enough of death to last me a lifetime.
I'm, sure you have. Have you seen a clown?
I beg your pardon?
The clown. A guy in funny pants. Have you seen him?
My pants are from England, Marks and Spencer. They are a pleasure and a comfort to wear, with much support.
I'm real glad to hear that.
Очень
You know,
информативно.
it's good to know you Nobel Prize winners are human too.
In my country, the people make do with string and egg cartoons.
For pants?
For everything. Oppression is the mother of ingenuity.
Окей.
Do
Давай
you
спросим
recognize this
Поповича.
man? He calls himself Khan.
Yes, I know this man. Why do you carry his photograph?
I'm a private detective.
А ну-ка.
What's your interest in Khan?
He is an enemy of my people.
You know he's a killer.
Of course, amongst other things.
Would you help me investigate Khan?
That is not possible. My instructions are to observe. I cannot jeopardize my position as an honored guest of this country's government.
Не могу, мне хочется удавить из-за его акцента, если честно.
Does this goo-smeared tissue mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Thanks for your help.
Ладно, спасибо.
Goodbye.
Давайте поговорим с тетенькой. Тетенька.
Hi there, ma'am.
Well, hello.
О,
What can I do for you?
какая?
I'm looking
Тетенька.
for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George. George Stobart, ma'am.
How sweet! I once had a stable boy called George. I am Lady Piermont. The common reaction is to kneel and stutter, but it's not obligatory.
A real lady? I mean, you're an honest-to-God aristocrat?
Oh, I don't know about that. Few of my ancestors are honest, not even to God. I can trace my
Женщина
family back to the
аристократка
Normans,
прям.
but don't let that intimidate you, George. Beneath that impressive pedigree, I'm just flesh and blood. The blood may be blue, but the flesh is the plump beef of old England, so to speak. You appear distracted, George. Is there any way I can help you?
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you think he's a gangster?
The Italian suit and the bulge in his pocket?
I know plenty of men with Italian suits and bulges in their pockets. That doesn't
Пистолет у
necessarily
тебя в
make them
кармане или
gangsters.
рад меня видеть?
Are you here in Paris on vacation?
No, darling, I'm on holiday. I needed to get away after Algy's funeral.
I didn't realize you were mourning the loss of a loved one.
I'm not. He was my husband.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband's death.
You wouldn't be if you knew him, my dear. It gave me the opportunity to take a well-deserved holiday. Daphne suggested a change of scenery. Paris, she said. A wild romance is just what you need to take your mind off the inquest. Well, the closest I came to romance was being wooed by a drunken Breton chef. I must say I was disappointed with his coq au vin. Not at all what I was expecting. I was thinking of cutting my holiday short, packing my bags and heading back to Hempstead. That was until last night.
What happened to you last night?
I was stricken, Mr. Stobart. Cupid's arrow has cleft my bosom.
They couldn't really miss.
It was just as I'd always imagined it should be. The intimacy of candlelight, romantic music tinkling across the room, and then a stranger's glance, those brooding eyes, that suave manner, those tight trousers. He was the man I'd been waiting for all my life.
I'm glad he finally turned up after all these years.
Ah, but it wasn't to be. He was merely toying with my
Господи, как
affections.
грустно.
And if I ever catch up with him, he's dead.
Мамочки.
Who was the guy who led you on?
His name is Merlin.
Merlin.
I'm looking for a murderer.
Good heavens! You're a private detective.
That's correct, ma'am.
What's the term you Americans use? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I believe what you're thinking of is Dick.
Precisely.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
My God, it's him! That's Merlin!
She represented everything I loved about the English. The lady was totally deranged. Merlin? You mean King Arthur's wizard?
Слушайте, англичане.
Monsieur Merlin is a fellow guest. He's the man I've been telling you about. That's the man who spurned me.
Вот же подлец.
The man you know as Merlin is a fake.
What do you mean, sweetie?
He's a murderer. He also uses the name Khan.
I am shocked, Mr. Stone.
I'm shocked.
Shaken. I took him to be a gentleman, a man of honor. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
Ах, какая.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see what exactly.
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. A bundle of papers, perhaps. The clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin went out.
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting documents in the safe?
Yes, darling, positive.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something of great importance.
Yeah. I'd sure like to get my hands on whatever it is. I'll bet they had something to do with Plantar's briefcase. Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
If I could get in there, I would.
Ладно. Нам, видимо, нужно будет в его номер вломиться. Сначала давайте с портье поговорим.
I want some information.
Who are you? The police?
I'm conducting a private investigation.
Ah, I know only too well what you mean. That is one of the drawbacks of the catering business. When people book into an hotel, they leave their morals at home, no?
I'm looking for a man who dresses like a clown.
This is a highly respectable hotel, monsieur. There are no clowns here.
If you say so. Do you know a man named
Давайте до всех
Plantar?
докапываться
No,
будем.
monsieur.
Do you have a guest by the name of Khan?
No, monsieur. Perhaps you would care to check the register.
А если так?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, monsieur. That man is one of our guests.
What name?
I cannot tell you that.
It's Merlin, isn't it? Alias Khan, the clown.
I told you, I cannot tell you that.
Какой чванливый. Бесит.
The man who calls himself Khan has a scar on his right cheek.
Vraiment? I tell you, I do not know a man named Khan.
Maybe not, but I'd noticed a change in his expression when I mentioned the scar. I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Your passport?
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats.
А это чё?
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
Съел.
What?
You are trying to steal that key,
Нет,
no?
ты что?
No
Нет, нет.
way.
Ну. Ладно, пойдем наверх. Что у нас тут? Тут у нас две двери. В какую-нибудь же мы
If
можем
the tailor's
ломануться.
description was correct, this was the killer's room. The sign on the door read 22. The door
Заперто.
was locked.
А тут?
The door was locked.
Друзья, охуенно, конечно. И что делать? Может, надо с тетенькой поговорить?
Hi, ma'am.
George, what can I do for you now?
Did I show you this photograph?
Yes, darling.
Ладно, видимо, не с ней. Может, с портье?
What now, monsieur?
Да.
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur.
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No. The guests checked out this morning.
I'd like to check into room 21.
That is not possible.
Почему?
How come? You said it was vacant.
It is reserved for another guest.
Rats.
No, monsieur. Dutch.
I believe Khan, the man with the scar, is also known as Merlin, the man who has taken room 22.
What of it? What do you want?
Access to his room.
Do you have a license, monsieur?
Huh?
A private investigator's license?
Well, not exactly, but I can explain everything.
I am sorry, but without credentials, I cannot help.
I insist you give me the key to Merlin's room.
I cannot do that, monsieur.
This guy Merlin is a menace.
So you say, monsieur.
He's not only a danger to society, but to your guests as well. He has toyed with the affections of Lady Piermont.
Ciel! Are there no depths to which he will not sink?
Precisely. He's already killed once, twice, maybe as many as 3 times. With your help, I just might be able to stop him.
But what if he finds out I have helped you? No, I cannot do it.
Ну почему? Какой ты вредный.
There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
Hey, ne touche pas!
Just looking.
Натушпа. Переводится как «не трогать».
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George.
не
What
знаю,
can
что
I do for
делать.
you now?
А, вот, надо с
Would
ней
you
про ключ
distract the
поговорить.
clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Oh, no. It's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine
Это
way for a
оскорбление?
boy to get licked into shape. Now tell me, why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick.
Ой, какая ле мадам. Ща она разберется.
I say, you there, flunky.
Oui, madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course,
English,
madame.
motherfucker. Do you speak it?
I wish to deposit some jewelry for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, bien sûr, madame.
Господи.
Over to you, my dear.
Давай, пиздим ключ. Пизди, пизди, пизди. Все, молодец. Пошли наверх, пока он не запалил. Заходим в номер.
The door was locked.
У тебя ключ есть. Открой дверь, не
Maybe it wasn't the
юродствуй.
right room, but this was the right key.
Что тут есть?
There was nothing in the wardrobe apart from a vague, lingering smell of camphor.
Трюм. Дома красивые, кстати. Ладно, давайте посмотрим, что тут у нас.
The cabinet was empty, but it smelt of onions. No kidding, it really did.
О, еще окошечко. А, мы, видимо, через окно сейчас пролезем туда. Давай. Выходи в окно. Давай, ползи. Ползи, мать. Ух, писец. Какая кровать обалденная. Я тоже такую хочу. С балдахином.
The bed was freshly made, and the crisp white sheets told me nothing about the killer's habits.
Опа.
It was the battered leather briefcase I'd seen Plantar carrying just before he died. I searched the interior of the briefcase, but as I'd half expected, it was empty.
Грустно. А тут что? Эй, ну ты не посмотрел, что там? И чё, и чё, и чё? Может, как-то... Я... А, может, так?
The closet was a solid, impressive piece of antique furniture. The closet was a...
Ладно.
It was calm. I had the kind of feeling in my stomach that would usually send me running to the bathroom.
Беги, беги, блядь, в шкаф. Прячься в шкаф.
As Khan opened the wardrobe, I was sure I was dead.
Как он мог его
But
не
he grabbed his pants
заметить?
quickly and didn't even see me.
Это
I
забавно.
didn't usually
если
spy on
честно.
men getting changed. But this guy was a killer, and I didn't want any surprises. He left his checkered pants on the bed.
Ух! Ладно, давай посмотрим, что там за брючки. О,
I flipped the pants over. I turned the pants.
ой, нет, стой, там что-то еще
I
было.
turned the pants over again. I had that kind of feeling you only get from searching still warm pants. I found nothing in the pocket.
Хм. А тут? Опа!
I found an ordinary matchbook. No matches, no clues. But as I pulled it from the pocket, a strong thread came with it. A thread with a metal tag on the end. I pulled on the metal tag and the thread came out of the pants. It was like pulling out a ripcord. The pocket was empty. I found nothing in the pocket.
Все, больше ничего.
I turned the pants over again.
О,
I searched the pocket gingerly and found
тайный
a pass
кармашек.
card. It read Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation. There was nothing in the pocket. The pocket was empty.
Все, видимо.
It was the card I'd found in the hotel bedroom. It read Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation. The matchbook bore a pattern of swirling color and the words Club Alamut.
А, вот еще тумбочка. Давай тут посмотрим, что.
The assassin had been too smart to leave incriminating evidence beside his bed.
What now, monsieur?
Does this pass mean anything to you?
That is Monsieur Merlin's property.
That's right. Merlin the murderer. I want to see what he's left in your safe.
Impossible. I cannot betray his confidence, no matter what you say he's done.
You're making a big mistake.
Maybe. I can live with that. A murderer? Are you sure?
Positive. Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No, monsieur.
Ладно, видимо, нам придется опять помощи у тетеньки просить. Мадам.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
I found this pass in Merlin's room.
So, that deceitful little man is passing himself off as an electrician, is he?
Кошмар.
Uh-huh. This guy probably has a million faces. This is the key to room 21.
That's next to the room taken by that rotten Merlin, isn't it?
Yes, and it's vacant.
Really? How convenient.
Maybe it was my imagination, but I had an uncomfortable feeling about this situation. Yeah. Did I show you this photograph?
Yes, darling.
Чё
I
дальше?
showed the pass to the clerk, hoping he'd give me Merlin's papers, but he wouldn't buy it. He's too scared.
I'll give him something to be scared of. Follow me, George.
Мам, дорогая. Она эту портье просто закошмарила.
Did you place a package from Merlin in the hotel safe?
I did, madame.
And did my friend here show you Merlin's identification?
Indeed he did, but
What's the problem?
he isn't Merlin.
A mere academic detail. Give him the package.
But that is against the law.
I happen to be a justice of the peace, you silly man.
Ooh.
I am the law. If he tries anything, shoot him, George.
I am
pleasure,
the
Lady
law.
Piermont.
One moment, please.
Она судья Дред.
You know, I haven't enjoyed myself this much since Greenham Common.
I don't know what I would have done without you, Lady Piermont.
Voilà, monsieur. Le manuscrit de Monsieur Merlin.
Monsieur
Thanks.
Merlin.
How satisfying. An Anglo-American alliance that actually worked.
The clerk had given me a tightly rolled sheet of parchment. I decided not to unroll it until I was safely back in Nico's apartment.
Так. Знаете, меня смущают те два ёбика на входе, поэтому давайте мы сейчас сделаем многоходовочку. Смотрите, короче,
I
вжих!
knew this was no way to treat an ancient manuscript, but I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the goons waiting outside.
Так. Всё. Идем обратно. Еще о чем-нибудь мы с ней можем поговорить?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Все, видимо.
I
Давайте.
found this matchbook in Merlin's bedroom.
It came from the Club Alamut. It might be useful to find out if that club is in Paris, George.
Ладно, идем.
Just a minute,
Опа!
monsieur.
What's your problem?
Стопорнули
problem.
нас,
If you
гопники.
cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet.
Hey, knock it off. Get off, you big ape.
Nothing, Guido. Zilch.
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I ought to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
You want I should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
Не, пронесло. Идемте подберем наш свиток.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to
мафия.
the apartment and check it out.
По возвращении в квартиру Нико.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, Josh.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, Josh.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh,
О,
well, did you
блатная
find anything
девочка.
useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking?
Еще
Do
троллит.
you have a boyfriend?
Not anymore. There was someone. A guy in my final year, but it didn't work out. Neither did my degree.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Tell me more about your family.
When I was a little girl, I used to spend the winter with my grandfather and grandma. They were the best times, warm and safe in their tiny cottage. My grandfather rolled cigarettes while grandma made hot chocolate and cakes. One day, he stopped his scrolling. He put the lid back on his tobacco jar and took me in his arms. I laughed and wriggled, but he hushed me to be silent. With his unshaven chin all scratchy in my ear, he told me his secret.
What did he say?
He said, I don't smoke, but she likes to think I do.
What a weird old man.
Don't call my grandfather weird. He was the nicest guy ever. I wish I was back in that cottage instead of this crummy apartment in this noisy city.
О, это так мило.
I found this in the killer's room.
What is it? A credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue. A name or an address? That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir.
Ладно,
You're just
давайте на
not going to
свиток
believe
посмотрим.
what I found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-boot.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their
Templiers.
official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means,
Только
it's
ассасинов
connected
не
with the
хватает.
Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found.
Jeez, so the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping.
Давай,
Let's take
поговорим,
another
пойдем.
look at the manuscript.
Ну, давайте по порядку начнем.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover? It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the wicked queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse. Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Lobino.
Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Krön Museum. I'll give you the address.
Ладно.
I have to go.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobino at the Krön Museum.
Пойдем, наверное, в музей тогда. Пойдем? Где он тут? А что еще есть? Полицейский участок. Мы сюда еще не заходили.
Excuse me, Sergeant.
What do you want now?
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
Do you know a man named Khan? He's a shifty-looking guy with a scar on his right cheek.
No, monsieur.
He also calls himself Thomas Merlin.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Stobart. I don't know him. Has this man any connection with the bombing of the cafe?
Yes. I believe Khan was the name he used when he hired the clown costume. Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Yes,
Да,
I do.
хочу.
One moment, monsieur. It's Stobart, monsieur. He insists on talking to you again.
Did he say what it was about?
No, monsieur.
Very well.
Hi, Inspector. Remember me?
But of course, Doctor, my mind is a well-ordered faculty. A mental classification system that's the envy of the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Да ладно.
No tricks, mark you, monsieur. Just exercise. Just as our muscles waste through inactivity, so our minds decay. But there is no need. If only people would learn to exercise their wits daily.
If he was trying to impress me, it worked. He was pompous and patronizing, but he had style.
Eh bien, if you called about the bombing, you're too late. Investigations have been closed.
But
I've been taken off the case.
what about the murderer, the dead guy?
Как же
It
так?
is out of my hands.
Did you find out the ID of the guy who was killed in the explosion?
I already knew who he was.
I heard that the bomb victim's name was Plantar.
Your sources are reliable.
He was a big shot at the Treasury, wasn't he? Maybe that's why you've been taken off the case.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I cannot comment.
Don't you want to know what I found out about the killer?
I told you, monsieur, the case is closed. I have washed my hands of the whole affair.
Then I'll have to continue my investigations without your help.
No. You must forget the business of the clown completely. Go back to being an ordinary tourist, Stobard.
Do you know a pair of thugs called Flap and Guido?
I have known those two since they graduated from special school. Flap is a nasty piece of work, but Guido is the real brains of the partnership. Where did you hear of them?
I met them out front of the Hotel Ubu. Have you heard of the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. But of course, monsieur, their fame is widespread throughout France. We haven't forgotten them, unlike the rest of Europe.
It was the King of France who persecuted them, though.
Indeed.
That shook his cool. Underneath his cultured facade, the man was real twitchy. You're obviously a great admirer of the Knights Templar.
They were men of great honor, monsieur. The flower of chivalry.
Not everyone would share your views, Inspector.
Not everyone shares my passion for Bartok.
But if the Templars were as honorable as...
That's enough. I do not wish to hear your uninformed opinions, Stobard.
Why do you get so wound up about the Knights Templar? They've been dead for centuries. I shouldn't have pushed my luck. Maybe his ancestors were Templars. Whatever. I saw the anger flare in his eyes like a distant summer thunderstorm.
The Templars were the first true internationalists. 800 years on, and still the world is fragmented by nationalistic flag-waving fools. You will excuse me.
Всё. Больше с ним не
So long,
поговорим.
Inspector.
Давайте ему фотку покажем.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur.
It's the guy who bombed the cafe. The clown.
This man looks nothing like a clown.
He's taken off his grease paint and costume.
Then there is nothing to link this man with the killing.
Nothing? Look at those murderous eyes.
Hardly likely to get him convicted.
В Америке иногда упекают за то, что ты просто черный. Даже не обязательно взгляд иметь какой-то убийственный.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you, Sergeant?
That's a double-lined Swedish with a crosshatch Bergman strike strip. Now, that's unusual. Pre-war Anderson hinging.
Really?
I haven't seen a reinforced Anderson outside of a private collection.
It's rare, then?
In this part of the world, yes. There are only 3 places these are made. Taiwan, Manila, and Slough.
That is not a good idea.
Окей, тогда
See
все.
you later, Sergeant.
Звонить никому не можем. Ладно, тогда идем в музей. Все, тут были, тут были. Давай, в музей. О, это же с этого,
In the case was a spindly
с этого,
tripod,
с
blackened
манускрипта
with age and pitted with rust.
тренога.
It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
Давайте поговорим с ним.
Pardon me,
Oui, monsieur?
are you Lobino?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobino does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. It studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not. Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology.
Да, школьная химия — это пиши формулы, решай уравнения.
Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
Ой, жуть.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Какая-то странная у них система безопасности. А если там в музей дети придут, и типа детям не скажешь не трогай стекло, они все равно будут трогать стекло, а до него дотрагиваешься, и тут сигналка орать начинает. И каждый раз так.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says
Ой.
it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied hard and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Ну и
Do you
давайте
know
о
anything about
манускриптах
medieval
поговорим.
manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is, I am no scholar, not like Monsieur Lobineau.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh no, I don't frequent places like that.
Do you recognize this ID pass?
No.
Thanks for your help.
Спасибо.
Attention! Please do not open the window, monsieur.
Don't you think it's kind of stuffy in here?
Better stuffy than dead.
What's the problem? Fumes from car exhausts?
Not just that, monsieur. There's a new burger bar opened up across the street. The Laughing Buffalo.
So what's the problem?
They cook their burgers on a charcoal grill, and the fat falls on the open flames. The amount of organic compound and smoke particles released is astounding. Since they opened, local air pollution has doubled, and it stinks like a funeral pyre. That is why I keep the windows closed.
Тут у нас что? Ой.
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Но это не шкаф.
Closet? It's a sarcophagus.
Сам ты шкаф.
Watch out! You'll have that done on top of us.
Ага. А дальше что? Надо, наверное, с этой поговорить. С Николь. Нам сюда.
Hi. I've been to the Kroon Museum.
Did you speak to Labino?
No, he wasn't there.
Да, аж музыка заиграла.
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marne.
I have heard of Loch Marne. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marne. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marne must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Pegram's gem is important, why don't you visit Loch Marne?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly? Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clan's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
Ладно.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Что дальше? Этого здесь не появилось? Нет. Что тогда делаем? Тренога из рукописи хранится здесь, в Париже, в музее Крун. Согласно табличке, обнаружили в Лохмарне, в Ирландии. Что, нам в Ирландию, что ли, ехать? Аэропорт. Ой, правда. Поехали.
I passed the castle on the way into Loch Marne. The castle where Pegram's excavation was located.
Все такое зелененькое. Такая Ирландия ирландская, господи. И музяка прям такая.
But it was locked from the inside. Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
I'm George Stobart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case, mister. A few sandwiches short of a picnic.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run.
McGuire.
From my dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. but I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I, see what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year. What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No.
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Loch Man.
Призраки.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worst. It was coming from inside the castle.
Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows. I could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but my legs had lost their stuffing.
Did you get to see the ghost?
Indeed I did. And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see, and he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
Lol.
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
Can you tell me where I'd find Pegram?
No, I can't, 'cause he's not here now, but if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Do you know what Pegram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure. Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Индиана Джонс современности, блин.
Do you recognize this matchbook, McGuire?
No, sir. I never seen it before in my life.
Ever heard of Thomas Merlin or the Gruber Electronics Corporation?
No.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
Ладно. Уже поздно, если честно. Я что-то себя не очень хорошо чувствую. Поэтому, пожалуй, на сегодня прервемся. Ты прости уж, ролик. Но что-то прям... Меня довели герои. Они меня довели, мне плохо, боже. Ладно, в следующий раз продолжим. Возможно, в понедельник вечером или во вторник. Я посмотрю. Ну а пока все. Пока. Хороших выходных!